Good morning, Doctor, and my dear colleagues. I'm by name James Ranlam, with registration number BU.MHR.0867.WEE, with the model name Talent Management. And our case study of today is the ethical recruitment and selection, together with the privacy issue in the talent management. Then we are going to talk about how do we understand about this ethical recruitment and selection. So at the Healthcare Foundation in the Human Resource, we eliminating the bias, we ensuring the transparency and protecting the candidate data, and also we are assessing the applicant strictly on the merits, and also we do honoring the diversity and holding the confidentiality through hiring journey of the process of recruitment. And also we, as a human resource, so you have to know the principle of the ethical recruitment and selection. So as a specialist also you have to identify the four. One is a non-discrimination, is one of the major things that prevent the bias on the race, gender, age, religion, disability, or socio-economic background. So we have the transparency also. There must be a transparency as the human resource personnel. You have to provide a clear, accurate job description and also the compensation detail. And also you have to keep the candidate informed of the applicant status and hiring in timeline. Also, you need to keep confidentiality is one of the safeguard personal candidate data, and also collecting what is necessary, and secure the explicitity and consent. So also you have to identify also one of the principles also you have the human resource personnel, you have to make the what is called fairness and merit-based selection. So during the process of recruiting, you have to rely on the structure interview, and also you have to make the objective is skill-based assessment rather than getting the peeling or the personal as through connection. So as a human resource, you have to abide with this. So there is a challenges in the ethical recruitment and selection. So as a human resource personnel, so during the recruitment, there is the challenges that face or that the applicant is facing. One is the discrimination in the recruitment. This discrimination is one of the major common ethical issue facing during the recruitment process. And also there is a stock typing is another form of discrimination that can occur during the recruitment also. Sometimes the human resource personnel recruiting based on who they know, and there is another one which is called nepotism and clinism. And this one, nepotism, is occur when a recruiter favor the candidate who are relating to both of them or to influential people within the organization, regardless of their qualification. As a human resource personnel, you have to avoid this. So another one is recruiting the unqualified candidate. As a human resource personnel, you have to know, you have to restrict, you have to be restricted not to recruit people who have no qualification. Recruit the people with their qualification, not just a qualification based on what they are fitting for. Then the other one is also ignoring the candidate question and concern. Sometimes during the process, you ignore the question of the candidate that they ask for you. And sometimes also one of the major problem is charging the applicant with the money. So for the organization to get the revenue, that one is not good for the organization. So it is not good to do that. Then one of the important thing you have to do as a human resource personnel is important for the ethical recruitment and selection. One is the implement the hiring technique. So during the process, you have to reduce the impact of unconscious bias and discrimination. That is one of the important things. So another one is conduct the interview and the skill assessment. This is the one you have to do. You have to ensure the proper matching of the candidate to a job requirement. So you have to also treat all the candidates equally by avoiding the discrimination based on the gender, race, origin, religion, and political view. So as a human resource personnel, you have to avoid all this process. So, and also collect all the necessary information from the candidate, focus on the detail relevant to the ability to perform the job. So there's no need for you to bring someone who is not qualified to this. Then establish the clear information on the channel. So as a human resource personnel, you have to be clear during making the recruitment. So the other benefit as a human resource personnel have to do, the benefit of ethical recruiting and selection is attracting the top talent. So this one also, the organization know for the ethical recruiting practice are more likely to attract the high quality candidate who give the value, integrity, and fairness. So you have to do this. Improve the relation, employees retention. Also, ethical practice lead to highest employees satisfaction and loyalty, reducing the turnover rate and associating costs. So this one, when you're recruiting and you employ your staff, you have to make you improve the employees retention, and also you have to provide the privacy issue in the talent management. So one of the major thing in the talent management issue is the artificial intelligence. So is screening. An AI tool become the best among the personal data to get suitability and often screening the social media or using the historical bias data that can relate into discrimination, hiding the pattern. Sometimes in this current situation we are in this generation of Jay-Z, so HR, human resource department are using artificial intelligence, which is also not to be, is good, but it need to be putting action on this. Employees monitoring also is one of the productivity tracking tool, like example, like the key store logging, geolocation tracking can monitor the personal account and embed the employees' privacy outside of the working hours. Also, this one is one of the major problems that the issue in the talent management is sensitive medication and accommodation data. Also, the trust breakdown quickly when the manager or inform about healthy or disability related to accommodation. So sometimes it is not good also to do that. Then we have the action for and safeguarding in the privacy issue in the talent management. One is impose the data minimization. What this one, it can limit the collection of data, process and storage of candidate and employees information strictly to what is necessary for the specific HR purpose. So one is prioritize the transparency and concern and clearly communicate to candidate and employee that the data is being collected, how it is being used, and obtain explicit concern before profiling or monitoring. Then other one is conduct regular auditing also is one of the important. And in this case study where we get data, here is our references. So we get the data from Hadom JS in 1996, and also we also get the data from also from the big con advanced in experimental social psychologist in 1999 in New York Academic Press. And thank you. Over to you, Doctor. Thank you.